Oh no. Wait. Has it been? It's been 3,000 years. Sorry for the sloppy upload schedule. With things getting back to normal for my personal life, uploads should flow more often. Hello and welcome to Difficulty Down, where hopefully we lowered the difficulty. In this video, we're discussing Pokemon Legends ZA and the lore necessary for playing. As we currently don't know much about Legends ZA aside from the location, map, and that it's a Legend game, there will be a lot of speculation, but all the information provided is sourced either directly from the in-game content, or from side content, or creators such as Pokemongenerations, the Evolutions show, the regular show, and blogs from Masuda himself. Pokemon Legends ZA is off of the Kalos region, which does have a real-life counterpart, France. Specifically northern France. In Legends ZA, we are entirely within Lumois City, and the redevelopment of the city in its entirety. As such, we should start off with Pokemon X and Y, where the city first debuted. In Pokemon X and Y, originally released in 2013, you play as the protagonist of your own Pokemon adventure. Same as always, you receive your starter, find friends and rivals, meet the professor, and go on a unique story from there, including Write Up a Pokemon, Mega Evolution, and more. In X and Y, we meet the professor in a huge city of Lumois, known as the central area for all of Kalos, such as Paris for France. In Lumois, we learn of a major power outage and cannot access many places that are due to that. And upon leaving Lumois, we are instructed to meet with Diantha, the current champion, and Lysander, the creator of the Holocaster, the device used for communication across Kalos. They have a small discussion about beauty and where it lies, and then leave. Certainly has no ill-boding implications. Upon finding our next badge for our gym quest, we meet Team Flare as the villainous team. They employ the usual methods of evil teams in Pokemon, such as stealing Pokemon from others, and looking to gain information, wealth, and facilities over the specific region. In Kalos, the facility most important to Team Flare is the power generation of all of Kalos. When it's taken over by Team Flare a few badges later, as the protagonists we have to save the power plant from their evil clutches. Upon doing so, they say that they have enough power to do what's needed and leave. We then find our first encounter with a mysterious giant known only as AZ. If you can't tell, he's important for later. We arrive back in Lumois after restoring power and access the remainder of the map. Going from town to town obtaining badges until we hit Lavere City, where the Pokeball factory is under attack. By Team Flare, no less. We punch down and beat them super easily and they run off. In the next town, we find out there's something wrong with the Frost Cavern, and inside we see a horde of Vanillite about to be eaten by Snorlax. Oh, sorry, I meant Team Flare is trying to force Mega Evolution on an Abomasnow. We stop them again and head onward to our next major city, Anistar City, where upon receiving the badge, we receive an ominous Holocaster message claiming Lysander is going to destroy the world with his ultimate weapon, and only Team Flare will be saved. We head to the cafe Lysander frequents to see if we can find him. It turns out it's a huge underground Team Flare base. When we see Lysander there, he tells us about how he tried to save the world by giving profits from his company to necessary places, but that no matter what he did, it wasn't enough, so that he plans to wipe to a clean slate. I guess rather than doing the right thing, Lysander decides to destroy the world. He tells us that if we want to stop him, we will have to navigate the lair. We find AZ held captive, and he tells us a story about a man who loved a Pokemon. He says that the man lived in a time of much war and suffering, and that the Pokemon was sent to war. Upon receiving a box and knowing his Pokemon wouldn't return, the man built a machine to give life to his Pokemon in return for the lives of many others. It worked, and his beloved Pokemon returned to him. The man was still filled with rage and wanted to stop the conflict. He turned the machine from one that gives life into one that takes it. He used the machine to put a stop to the war and succeeded. The Pokemon was saddened that the man could take the lives of so many to give it life, and the Pokemon left the man. Upon telling the story, AZ pleads with you to retrieve the key to the ultimate weapon from Lysander to stop the same fate from happening again. We venture further and encounter Lysander's advisor known as Zerosic. He gives us a choice as dictated by Lysander. 2 buttons before us, one readies the weapon and the other stops it. Upon making a choice, Zerosic says it doesn't matter, and if we chose the right button, he activates the machine anyway. We rush to Geosenge Town and enter the Team Flare base for the weapon. You then battle Lysander again, and he exclaims it's too late, and that by battling you, he's taken enough time to have the machine operational and ready to fire. He bids you to go to the deepest floor and see for yourself. The machine is being powered by the legendary Pokemon, depending on your version, either Yveltal in Y or Xerneas in X. Upon catching the legendary Pokemon, Lysander battles you once again, this time with his full power. When defeated, Lysander crashes out and decides to fire the ultimate weapon at his base, where you and he are, rather than start the world from scratch. You escape just in time and are regarded as the hero who saved Kalos. Upon beating the champion, you are held a ceremony for both saving the world and becoming a new champion. Credits roll. At the end of the credits, you see a scene where AZ challenges you to a battle, and upon defeating him, he explains that he was the one who built the awful weapon, and that the battle was his way of atoning, and finally letting go of the burden he carried. After his speech, he looks above, only to see his Pokemon finally return to him. The end. At least that's the end of X and Y the game. As one may expect of Pokemon, lore for the characters and the areas go far beyond one game. In fact, Lysander also makes an appearance several games later in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. In this timeline, Lysander succeeded, and right as the ultimate weapon was about to make impact on the world, he was teleported to the Alola region and used for another's plan. Let me know if that's a video I should make too. Drop a comment about Ultra Sun and Moon below for your vote for more. Continuing with our exploration into lore behind Legends AA, we can look into the other Legends game in the franchise. In Legends Arceus, released in 2022, you play as the Diamond Pearl protagonist years after the game takes place. You are snatched from your time and teleported hundreds of years in the past by a Pokemon known as Arceus. Now for those who know who Arceus is, that's a big deal. But to those who don't know, Arceus is said to have created both the universe and the Pokemon who reign over the properties of it. So to be kidnapped by Pokegod himself is pretty insane. In the past version of the region of Sinnoh, known back then as Hisui, Pokeballs were just invented and the world was host to dangerous creatures known as Pokemon. These creatures are incredibly dangerous and will attack and kill if needed. As a newcomer to this land, you are met with prejudice, hostility, and mochi. Lots and lots of mochi. You are tasked with solving the issues that plague the land. Giant Pokemon known as Alphas, or if they're important to the story, known as Nobles, are roaming the land. The Nobles, however, are hit with lightning that turns them incredibly hostile. Your job is to save the Nobles and cure the land of the lightning that causes the issues. Easy enough. Upon finishing the main story, it's found out that it was actually the villain known as Volo who told us to gather the plates, as he was waiting for an audience with Arceus all along. Long story short, Volo is evil, he's after Arceus, we gotta stop him. Upon fighting him, longtime Pokemon fans will remember the music, the Pokemon, and the familiarity of a fight from Diamond and Pearl, as Volo is based entirely off of a Pokemon champion known as Cynthia. In Hisui, it's incredibly common to find others who share the same lineage as other Pokemon characters from the series. As such, we need to discuss the possibility of further references to other characters as a possibility in Legends ZA. In fact, it wouldn't be uncommon to explore the ages in Legends ZA either, as the main point of the Legends game so far seems to be exploring the hidden depths of previous titles, areas, and characters. In the blog from Junichi Masuda, one of the original developers of Pokemon, he says the following: "The themes of X and Y are beauty, bonds, and evolution. But the bigger theme is that the world is full of encounters that depend on the circumstance we find ourselves in. If you were born 1 year earlier, you might have had a completely different group of friends. Suppose, too, that your parents never met. Instead of fighting, these encounters should be opportunities to build a better world together." Titles of X and Y came from that idea, like an axis. The lines of both letters head in different directions, but there's a point at which they cross paths. As such, we can hope for an expansion upon his ideas in Legends ZA, and an exploration further into the world of Kalos and Lumoise City. Most small details overlooked in the original games X and Y will likely make an appearance as well, or possibly have their own storyline in Legends ZA, as there were many mysteries and oddities in the original games. The ghost of a young girl is found and cryptically says, "No, you're not the one," then disappears. The back of a bulletin board at the train station has a note saying, "Wait in the usual spot, I'll go for help." And other mysteries from other games even reference these oddities and more, such as the mysterious character Looker, who in X and Y, his partner Emma, who it turns out is being controlled by a piece of tech to steal Pokemon. In this post-game piece of content, we see an investigator known as Codename Looker take on an assistant when in actuality she is unknowingly stealing Pokemon at dark. In Pokemon Generation, we even see further into that mess. She even ends up in the same cafe as Lysander Lab's secret basement. Could it be Lysander was programming people to steal? Or maybe even Xerosic? Or the theory that maybe Lysander gave himself eternal life based on his speech from Evolutions. In fact, Lysander also mentions in Generations that he seeks to bring Kalos closer together with his invention, the Holocaster. Perhaps Kalos wasn't unified at some point, and maybe that's the war AZ was referring to? In that same line of questioning, we have the developers weighing in too. There was also possibly a planned X and Y DLC on the way. Initially, as in an interview with the developers, they claim that they cannot comment on a potential DLC for X and Y when being asked upon its release. X and Y are giant games and deserve the love they're being given with Legends ZA. I personally hope they continue to show the attention to detail and care for the series that we the fans have for this beloved game franchise. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you found this video helpful. If you enjoyed, please drop a like, comment, or subscribe, as you can hopefully expect to see further Pokemon content like this in the future. If you want anything covered specifically, please leave a comment below, and hopefully we can make a video about that too. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.